The Spinosaurus aegypticus. The Spinosaurus aegypticus was famously known for being in Jurassic Park 3 as the big one with the fin. Now that fin is actually a very useful tool. Actually, I should probably start with an introduction, but let me find it. To give you guys a bit of a look of the Spinosaurus. It might take a while, though. Found it. It looked something like this. Very terrifying. But you might be afraid of it even more once I tell you what it means. It means spine lizard, as you can tell, with a giant fin. And some of these fins could grow as tall as an average 6-foot person. This animal was discovered in 1910 by a German aristocrat named Ernst Stromer. He boarded a steamboat bound for Egypt. He was born into the noble bloodline. His father was mayor of Nuremberg. I'm getting into this dude's personal life so that we can explain what he's going to do later on. But for the next several months, his father was leaving behind the comforts of Egypt and heading out of Europe into the treacherous deserts of North Africa to find fossils. Very little was known about Africa's fossil record at the time because not everybody went there to look for fossils. It was just like, alright. But he was determined to find dinosaurs. And he made a very well-done success. He and his assistants uncovered a wide sample of fossils, which included a new dinosaur species. One of these dinosaurs was the gargantuan theropod known as the Spinosaurus aegypticus. Now, the Spinosaurus aegypticus was unlike anything that they ever found before. It was bigger than the T-Rex, and the T-Rex was discovered like 5 years earlier. But the T-Rex sort of had like a 4-foot, 5-foot snout, like about this big, maybe that big. But the Spinosaurus could get even as tall. The Spinosaurus snout was way larger, able to like catch something like a large fish. Fragmentary pieces of the skull suggested its low cranium was very similar to that of a crocodile, and yes, it was. It had the ability to swim in water, but it kept its upper head, like the jaw point, where the teeth reach in the bottom jaw here. They keep that and everything below that underwater, but it keeps the head and the sail up in the air. The sail sort of worked as like a paddle, and so did its tail. And on each spinosaurid, every spinosaur of its every species of this family of dinosaurs had little holes in the front of its snout because they put their front nose in the water to try and find fish, sort of like a crocodile. It would stand still like a log, and if anything ever swam past them, it would sense it because of the motion going onto the snout, and then catch its food. Most remarkably, the back vertebrae expanded tall, thin sheaths that looked like they supported a sail, and it was a sail. And clearly this animal was a giant. It would reach at least 60 feet long. And normally an average T-Rex would be like 45 feet. But the height was more like 10 feet because it would normally... Yes, it would be 10 feet because it would actually be more or less walking with its front four arms. Why? Because when it's swimming, it has more balance. And plus, all of that weight is being supported towards the face or on the front of the body. So it would use those arms to help it walk. Otherwise, it would fall on its beautiful face. The scrappy remains were all substantially larger than the bones of other predatory dinosaurs like a T-Rex, a Allosaurus. Yes, Allosaurus was found before that in the 1800s during the Bone Wars. I'll get to that in the next video, in another video. The intriguing fossils of the Spinosaurus were made the center of the center exhibit in Munich. That is when World War II came along. It was accidentally destroyed during an Allied bombing when the Allies bombed it. I'm not saying the Allies are horrible. I'm not saying the Axis aren't horrible people, or were horrible people. They were, but when the Allies did carpet bombing all over Munich, saying, "Hey, we're joining the fight because one of yours because part of the Allies bombed Pearl Harbor," so they carpet bombed them. Unfortunately, and Ernst Stromer said to the head of the museum, "Hey, we need to get these fossils into a safe location. My papers as well." They said, "No, we're far away from the bombs are supposed to hit. They weren't far away." And the only fossils of the Spinosaurus were turned to dust, and when the building collapsed upon itself, and then fire. And the museum was actually an old castle, an old German castle. Not something like, oh, it was huge. It was just like an average normal museum. That's a castle. And they had a dungeon underneath. It was very protected. It was underground. Everything would be safe. And the only thing that was left to survive were Stromer's illustrations of what he thought the Spinosaurus actually looked like. And recently, in the early 2000s, a scientist whose show I actually did end up going to, talking about the Spinosaurus and its discovery, new fossils have been found, new fragments, and there were some fossils in Italy that had like fragments of a femur, and using computer technology, they built what it would actually look like in reality. No one has yet found even a moderately complete skeleton, because normally like a T-Rex would take a complete skeleton with like a bunch of people would probably take like a year or two to complete. But trying to find a complete Spinosaurus skeleton would probably take about like 3 to 5 years. However, these new fossils confirm the strange appearance of the Spinosaurus and suggest that it may have been the largest carnivore to ever walk the earth, unlike a megalodon, a land carnivore. A newly discovered skull, nearly 6 feet. The largest skull of any theropod, based on the skull and other fossils. Scientists have estimated the length of the Spinosaurus to be anywhere, as I mentioned earlier, from 33 to 60 feet. The largest Tyrannosaurus individual, in contrast, rarely measures over 40 feet. Weight estimates of the Spinosaurus varies. It could possibly weigh up to 9 tons, which is still enormous. Not much is yet still known about the Spinosaurus aegypticus, but with further studies and other future research, we might be able to find out what its diet was. Well, it was since we actually found fragmented remains and some of its fossils, because some mud actually preserved the inner organs, like you could preserve skin. Yes, we know that from an Edmontosaurus found. Some organs, like not really a brain. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Please leave a like, comment down below what your favorite dinosaur is. Smash that subscribe button in the face, or no, stab it with a lightsaber. And until next time, I'm Tom Idol, and I'll see you guys in the next video.